look who's decided to wake up. If I'm not mistaken, I do believe it's the thief who decided to break into my abode just a few hours ago. Don't be afraid. I don't plan on hurting you. You may be a thief, but I don't believe in hurting others as punishment. Now, shrinking them, I have no personal qualms with, as I'm sure you found out when you set off that shrinking spell rune on my door handle. I find thieves tend to be more manageable when they're just a few inches tall. And, no talking. I'm sure you have plenty of excuses, but right now I'm not interested in hearing them. I'll let you plead your case later, as long as you're good and don't try to interrupt. Thank you. Now, I don't know why you're here, and I don't particularly care, but I do want to comment briefly that I am rather impressed. It's not every day someone manages to make it to the front doorstep of my house. Usually, they get caught in one of the many pitfalls and traps I've laid out for them. But you managed to make it all the way here. So if you don't mind, I'm going to take this. It's just a magnifying glass, don't worry. And look you over. I was going to do this earlier, but I figured you might consider it rude. Examining an unconscious person. Not that I should have much care of what you think is rude, but I try to maintain some form of amiability. Interesting. Seems here that you're wearing a pair of traveler's gloves. Very creative. I'm guessing that's how you got out of all of the entangling vines. Very smart. Anytime the local foliage tries to get a hold of you, you can just teleport a bit away. I would say that's impressive, but it somewhat pales in comparison to the focus fern you have poking out of your backpack. Very smart. And very unorthodox. I've seen plenty of different individuals try their luck with numerous methods of getting past my partner's song. I've seen plugged ears, counter enchantments, even areas of silence. But not many would think to use such a simple method. Not many, I think, would even know to look for a plant such as this. They're not very common in these parts. You really knew what you were getting yourself into. So, what brings you here? Yes. Go on, plead your case. I'm sure you have reason for being here. This couldn't simply be a chance encounter with many supplies you have that just so happen to perfectly align with the defense mechanisms I have around my house. So what did you come here for? Mind you, I don't plan on giving it to you. I don't deal with thieves, but I am so curious. Perhaps there's a noble cause that I can find some ounce of a bleeding heart to help you with. Really? My brother sent you? That's a new one? But unfortunately, I won't be falling for something like that. He hasn't once sent out a third party in all my years of being out here. If he needed something, I'm sure he would just stop by himself. Proof? Go on. Show me whatever proof you have. Hold on. What is that? Let me get my stronger magnifier. Is that... That's his companion's compass. Very smart of him. I know he wouldn't give that to just anyone to borrow. And I know he's too good for you to have possibly stolen it. Alright. So then, if my brother sent you here, why not simply come himself? What does he need you for? Undead spirits loitering around the outskirts of town. Interesting. Well, I'm afraid I'm no expert on the undead or ghosts, so please tell him that and be on your way. Alright. I'm listening. How did he think I could possibly help? A spell? Well, I do specialize in those. But I don't have any banishment spells or anything to get rid of ghosts, I'm afraid. I mostly deal with nature, and most plants don't have ghosts. Speaking with ghosts, well, yes, I can imagine you would need a spell for that. The language of the undead is quite unique. But unfortunately, I can't help with that either. No, I don't mean to be uncooperative. I'm sorry for having assumed you were a thief at first. I simply don't know how to help. Unfortunately for my brother and for you, I've never attempted a communication spell. It's something I certainly would be interested in attempting at some point, but as it is, attempting to cast one with my current understanding would be a bit like if you tried to hit a target with a bow and arrow while blindfolded and being spun around 10 times. It's possible, but not likely. However, I can think of something. There's a bone worm that lives a bit a ways from here. At your present size, there's no chance you could make it there by the end of the day, or even by the end of the week, to be certain. Not that you'll be stuck at that size forever. The shrinking spell is only designed to last a few hours, long enough for my partner to travel you back to town, but since you're already this size, might as well put it to your advantage. I could have you brought to the cave where the bone worm lives. Like most large reptilian creatures, the worm in question does have a small hoard of trinkets and tchotchkes and small artifacts. One of which, if I'm not mistaken, and I very rarely am, is a wand of spirit speech. You could barter for it, or obtain it in other ways, and use that to speak with the ghosts. Of course, I can't exactly recommend you get on the bad side of any large monster, but particularly not a worm. But still, it's an option. As of right now, my partner is out keeping the local area free of monsters himself. His song is special made, per my request. Most harpies, I'm sure, if you have any arcane knowledge, you're more than aware that their song tends to lure in creatures, but his is designed to peacefully remove them from the area. No fighting, no bloodshed, not even a bit of harm. It's quite handy for most. But once he is back from his duties, I'll be sure to let him know that he has a bit of transportation he has to do. Does that sound good to you? Alright. Fine enough with me. I do apologize for the inconvenience, though. I suppose if you were normal sized, you'd have to walk all the way there. So, perhaps this is a fortuitous development. In the meantime, however, well, you seem a bit tired. And perhaps a bit hungry. I suppose I could spare some food. It's the least I could do for causing you trouble. Yes, well, I hope you realize that you're not welcome just to loiter around here whenever you want. I'm being nice because you are a friend of my brother's. But I'm being hospitable because you are here on an important mission. That said, here's a bit of bread. I made it myself. It's not my finest work, but it'll keep you from being hungry. And here's a bit of infused water. Should keep your health up and your energy. I'm sure you'll need it for whatever comes next. And I must request, whatever you do with this bone worm, you don't provoke him. I would rather not have to leave my home on account of you angering a beast multiple times your size. Well, is there anything else you need while I'm here? Alright. Then feel free to get comfortable. I'll set up a little basket for you to ride in. Get a small cloth so you're not cold while you're up in the air. And, like I said, once my partner gets back from his duties, I'll be sure to let him know about your quest. Just sit tight. Don't touch anything. Good. If you need anything, I'll be nearby.